1.
And we are recording now. We're live. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Rosalind.
Hi, Scarlett.
Hey, lady.
Hi. So we are here to discuss what happened yesterday when the Saving Girls Sports Act went to the Senate floor. And we wanted to kind of talk about what happened and how disappointed we are with the results. I'm going to share the screen right now with. So Democrats unite to stop Republicans from keeping boys out of girls' sports. So that's basically what happened. And a lot of people are asking, well, how did that happen? Because there were 51 votes in favor of this bill. But as we all know that, right, you needed 60 votes in order to get it across. Otherwise, it wasn't filibuster proof. So when all the Senate Democrats voted against this bill, that meant that it would not be able to, it would pass technically, but with the rules of the Senate, that's just the way it goes. And we want the filibuster because many times it works for us, but in this case it didn't. Mm-hmm. So what do you all have to say about this?
I mean, I think we're all disappointed, to say the least, right? This is an 80-20 issue, right? The Vice President Harris lost on 2080 issues constantly. So to see that it was such a common sense issue that was divided by party lines, I wonder, where do we go from here, right? Like, how do we get these common sense conversations? How do we get these common sense initiatives over these hurdles that shouldn't be hurdles at all, right? And I don't know, like, which lobbying firms we need to knock on the doors of and say, hey, like, who are the nine Democrats that we need to get the ear of, because this has to move forward. President Trump said it was an executive order. It was a priority. Jamie, you were there with your daughters, signed and watched in person that EO. And so I think all girls and all girl dads and all moms of girls, or if you're just a woman in general, you're frustrated and disappointed. Like, what happened to my rights? So that's where I'm standing right now. Jamie, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you said, I joined moms from, a dozen organizations from over a dozen states there at the White House with our daughters while President Trump signed the executive order. And, he called out some, governors and our elected officials that were in the room with us and congratulated them and acknowledged them for the work they've done, in their states to keep men out of women's sports. And then we watch as every single Democrat,
Yes.
votes no. I mean, I'm in Virginia. That's both votes no for us in Virginia. And I don't understand. That doesn't represent, it doesn't feel representative of the values that I hold as a voter. Certainly not even in our mostly conservative county in Fauquier County, Virginia. I just don't understand it. It's such a disappointment. And, elections have consequences. We have a huge election in Virginia this year in November for our, for governor. And I don't want to see our state go, completely blue. Last night was a perfect example of what happens when, we don't have the House, we don't have the Senate, and currently we have, Governor Youngkin in Richmond, and what happens from here?
Yeah, I mean, we in Wisconsin have elections even sooner than that. We have elections on April 1st for state Supreme Court, and that is important nationally because if we keep the ballot, right now it is, of the 7, 4 are very woke. And one of the 4 women are retiring. So this spot, if it were to be won by the conservative justice, Brad Schimmel, that would mean that there would be more balance on the court. If this uber woke person wins this election on April 1st, she has already been on a conference call where they said that their number one goal is to redraw Wisconsin's congressional district lines and push out 2 Republican representatives. And by doing that, right now, Republicans, they only hold the majority by 2 or 3 seats. And so that would flip the majority of the House to the Democrats. And one of the first things they would do is stop the Trump agenda and double down on all of the woke nonsense, and probably cause a lot of trouble for the Trump administration, like last time, where they tried to, they're always going after him, and they were trying to impeach him multiple times. So in my state, like all the elections matter. They matter. They matter on April 1st. They matter in November. And as we can see, the Democrats, they just all vote in unison. They don't even, remember Fetterman, who's supposed to be so moderate. I mean, he voted to protect trans kids, supposedly. In my state, Tammy Baldwin voted against this, and Senator Ron Johnson voted for it. But yeah, it's disappointing. I'm not surprised that Tammy Baldwin voted against this, but were there some surprises? Were there some Democrats that some people thought might actually vote for this? I don't know. What do you guys know?
I don't know. I haven't seen a Democrat yet that's willing to stand up for
the idea of party
our
lines,
daughters.
I think the idea of party lines is so frustrating. Is how, as a country, are we going to come together collectively to fight for women's rights? And everyone has rights, and there is a place where we need to identify. And I don't have the solution at hand other than making a third co-ed option, right? There are many sports that are co-ed. But where are the senators? Where are our members who are coming to Washington to serve us, coming up with solutions instead of just constantly saying no, 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 and constantly being divided? Where is the compromise coming in so that everyone who wants to participate in sports and deserves private spaces can also be respected, right? Like, women shouldn't have to take a back seat to private spaces and our Title IX rights in order to make room for everybody. And so I think elected officials have a duty not just to say no, but rather to say how. And we're not getting there.
And I just put up Riley.
Well, not even that. There's not even
right here. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say any conversations or statements made. I mean, we went to bed after this vote. I'm frustrated as a mom of 3 daughters in the state of Virginia, and woke up, and I don't know if y'all saw the campaign today. I think there was over 22 Democratic senators that put out the same message, and I'll put my daughter in the swear jar that said like shit that ain't true, and then like had them all saying the same message about President Trump and inflation. And it's like, I'm sorry, are we not gonna have a conversation about the vote yesterday? Like, we're not gonna talk about that at all? Yeah. Just like,
aren't they always like putting out these, they're just always putting out these messages in unison? I know that we can be frustrated that conservatives have so many different opinions on things and can't manage to always stay together, but at least it shows there's independent thought and thoughtful debate, and not everyone just follow like lemmings. But on the Democrat side, that's exactly what you see. They're just lemmings. They do as they're told. It's scary, it's frustrating, but I mean, it's odd, and I know that in Georgia, there's a senator that Riley Gaines said that she wanted to target. He's going to struggle in the 2026 elections, but he doesn't care. He still will vote.
He'll virtue signal vote. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I almost can we do like a bingo card for tonight on the State of the Union, and then also the response? Like, do we know who's giving the response yet? because I can't wait. Like,
Oh, we should look and see who's given the response. I should look
love
that up.
I love a State of the Union bingo card.
if we have time, maybe we can post it on X to see if anybody wants to print and share it.
Oh, that
And
would be a
follow
good one.
along.
I mean, I know what I'm doing the rest. I know what I'm doing the rest of the evening now. 100%.
And Jamie, one of the solutions, Jamie, I know you made it tongue in cheek, but you're not wrong. On X, you posted that maybe all of the girl trophies should have XX on them instead of girls, right? So where's Jen Say? Can she start manufacturing some trophies too? That instead of saying like girls volleyball champion 2025, it's like XX volleyball champion. I think there might be a niche market there. Let's get Jen working on that.
The XY Athletics branded trophies and medals to hand out.
Like, it's a sad state of affairs where this is where we are in 2025, right? We've got an executive order, we've got a majority, we've got common sense. Yeah, that.
Yes.
But like, we're going to have to find the workaround, and that's what moms are constantly doing. That's what we're good at doing. It's like, okay, you don't want to tie your shoes and get out the door by 10 o'clock. What am I going to do to make that happen, right? This is, I know that's not a direct comparison, but really, if Democrats are going to keep doubling down on nonsense, then we're going to have to find workarounds. So here's one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't even think Jen said in this tweet I quoted, is this the hill the Democrats are going to die on? And I don't think they're going to die on it. I don't even think they're stopping to consider it. I mean, it's just like, that's their vote and let's move on to the next, what's next?
And as far as trophies, one of the senators said yesterday that to those who say this isn't happening, over 900 trophies have been awarded to males in female sports in the last 4 years. 900. So 900 trophies, 900 awards have gone to biological males. And every day when I go on social media, I see yet another boy that has broken a record, that has jumped a long jump, that is on the volleyball team, that is on the swim team, that is on the track team. And they have stolen a spot of a biological girl. They have stolen an award, a scholarship.
Like a mediocre male athlete, right?
Right.
I mean, that's what it always is.
And I want to know next too, right? 900 trophies, right? And so then you have to think too, how many potential scholarships, how many dollars lost? And I'd be curious if anybody out there has done any research on that to know like how many actual dollars have been awarded to men playing dress up. And, I call it, sexual appropriation when you really think about it, have been awarded to men playing dress up, pretending to be women who have a mental health issue, and then like that could have gone to your daughters or to other women. That would be really interesting if anybody has that information.
And this post went viral this weekend on Moms for Liberty. This is just a regular couple. And the dad, I have to admit, I thought for a minute was Matt Walsh. Turns out it was not, but
so not Matt Walsh.
Not Matt
Walsh.
I tagged Matt Walsh in a post, and not Matt Walsh, but Matt Walsh has a doppelganger.
How many views did that?
Oh, it's
how many views did the not
3 million impressions? Yeah.
I can't wait for Matt Walsh to potentially hear this and be like, "Wait, you thought that was me?" Like,
it looks just like it. If I don't have my glasses on, it's just like it. It's
like a brother for sure.
Yeah.
It's a distant cousin. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great sign.
Hey, there's worse things to be fighting for if you're not Matt Walsh. So.
Yes, the not Matt Walsh. Yeah, he's wearing, Save Girls Sports hat, and I love the sign. The weakest men compete with girls, and the weakest minds celebrate it. And so that took the trophy for our posts over the weekend to Moms for Liberty. So, and I'm pretty
it's spot on.
It is, and it's pretty cool when regular parents trend, when regular parents went out and said, we're not going to take this anymore, and they held a sign and become a national sensation. So I think it's great, and the power of the grassroots.
You bring that up, Scarlett, and I want to, I mentioned a minute ago about the how, right? Like not just no, but how and the workaround. And one of the things that I think we're going to see down the pike, it's going to take time, is the grassroots activists, like you just said. It's going to be the parents who are filing the complaints that these are happening, right? And so it's going to be the federal funding being taken away. And then you're going to have school districts who are losing federal funding, which includes Title I, right, for our most needy financial students. They're going to lose all of that because they're continuing to push this. And so that's going to be another workaround that, school districts, LEAs are going to be knocking on their senators' doors and their states of like, we need more money, we need more money. And maybe that's a workaround to getting these senators to vote differently, right? I don't know if that is a long-term play or not, but I'm just thinking like, how can we get more moms and dads involved? And maybe it's, again, submitting information to the Department of Education
Yes.
so that we can hold districts accountable and then maybe get a vote change that way. I don't know.
Well, it's that. It's also,
Well, we're already seeing work.
yeah, it's also your state legislature. It's if your state adopts policies, like we're going, we were hoping for this bill because there's states like mine and like yours that will not adopt these policies. And even though in Wisconsin, we're making another attempt this Thursday, there's the opportunity to testify in Madison, Wisconsin, and testify in favor of legislation just like this, but put in our state statutes that would protect women and girls sports in Wisconsin. And I know what the Democrats are going to say. They're going to say, oh, look at the NCAA, look at WIAA. They have adjusted their standards. Well, they've done that because of President Trump's executive order. But what happens, in 4 years, if God forbid, we don't win the White House and a Democrat is back in? Then all that'll happen is another executive order that will revert back to what Biden and Harris tried to do. And that's why we need to codify this, we have to codify Title IX and say this applies, sex means male and female. And the protections under Title IX apply only to females and have nothing to do with gender identity, which is completely made up. And so we need this codified in the state and federal level. That's why it's important. In my
Jamie,
opinion.
I think you were gonna say something.
Well, yeah, I was just saying the workaround here, aren't we seeing in the NCAA kind of backtracked, right, to allow anyone who had female on their birth certificate to identify as a female? And so It's like they kind of amended their
Isn't that kind of a loophole?
Stance, a loophole.
Yeah.
Also known as.
Yeah, they are.
The devil is always in the details.
And isn't that what happened in Ohio? One of the stories where they changed the bathroom signs to male, female, and they put biological male, biological female. And then, of course, the trans activists went crazy and they caved. They backtracked. Backtracked.
Well, speaking of backtrack, let's talk about a woman who did not backtrack. Is Representative Mary Miller, who doubled down, correcting the record yesterday for acknowledging that Sarah McBride is a man. So, I mean, that's the way forward. Stop backtracking, double down.
I think, sometimes the truth is hard to say, right? Like sometimes we are all in some capacity shy away from hard truth, right? And for some people, this is a hard biological truth is now a hard truth somehow, but kudos for her for standing up and, correcting it. That's the way forward. Like you said, Jamie.
And this was what she posted today, and you will know the truth and the truth will set you free, in reference to what happened when they tried to basically an Orwellian erasure of history. And like
in
here,
real time. I mean,
letter. Yep. Yeah. And that's, they took, and that's what they'll do. That's the enemy that we fight. There is some good news though. And regarding our friend, January Littlejohn.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's so
she's
incredible.
invited- she's going
What
to
a
be there
list
this
of guests
evening.
that. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
hey, I'm gonna plug in a little mom thing here, a little aside, because today is Tuesday, right? Tuesday the 3rd, right? March 3rd, yeah. We just talked about the
No,
truth
I
will
think
set
it's
you. Today's the
the
4th.
fourth.
Today's the 4th, right? Tomorrow's the 5th. Jack just reached over
Yes.
his laptop on the other side and said it's the 4th. Sorry. I should know that. But you said the truth will set you free, and so that feels a little biblical. So today is Shrove Tuesday, or Mardi Gras, or Fat Tuesday, Pancake Tuesday, but in Pennsylvania Dutch country, it's known as Fastnacht Day. And so I make fastnachts because of having roots and a youth, a 20-something youth in central Pennsylvania, but they are a beignet adjacent, but they're made with potatoes. They're donuts made with potatoes, and they taste delicious. And I woke up at 5 a.m. to make them. I started making them last night, and then because Shrove Tuesday, Fat Tuesday, whatever you want to call it, is the day before Lent. You obviously, you're fasting, you are preparing for Easter for those 40 days. But the whole purpose, if you don't know, Shrove Tuesday, Fat Tuesday, Fastnacht Day, is to clear your cupboards of all of your fats, all of your sugars, all of your starches, is to totally purge everything out. And so you are just gluttonous and celebratory before you go into a whole bunch of fasting. So this
that's
is one of
interesting.
them. Yeah. And Jack's friends tried them at lunch today and loved them. So today's a pretty exciting day in the Hanson household for our central Pennsylvania roots coming to life. And so now Jack will be allowed to eat another one. This is his 3rd one today.
Oh, wow.
You can't.
Oh, I'll
Can't
have
let
to
'em go
tell
to
her, my
waste.
daughter, she would love that day.
It's the one day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
mean, who
sorry.
doesn't
You
love
talked a little bit about God, and I was like,
potato
donuts. They're
Donuts. Enjoy the donuts. Yeah, and I put this out. Our friend January, who whenever she attends events, she always has the sign to talk about detransitioners. She's fought really hard, and so we're really, really proud of her. We're proud of
I'm here
who's
to
there.
protect children from irreversible medical harms in the form of puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgical interventions that are being performed on young girls as young as 12 years old. My daughter fell prey to this ideology.
There's like a double voice there, but anyway, she is a steadfast fighter for kids, and we're very, very proud of her.
She's somebody who speaks the truth, right? And her story is terrible. How her child was transitioned behind her back in a Florida school. We all kind of assume Florida's, the land of the free of all the states, and it's still happening there. It's still happening everywhere. The fight is far from over.
And then some more news just to talk for Moms for Liberty members today it's not called the State of the Union, right? It's the address to the nation before Trump's address to the nation, which should be very, very interesting. Before that, you could tune in and watch Moms for Liberty's discussion on restorative justice from 6 to 8 p.m. And all the links are on the X account of Moms for Liberty, and it's free. And there's Ryan Petty will be there, and Ryan. Am I saying his first name right?
Yeah.
Ryan, and he's from one of our great partners, Parents Defending Education, and then Sheriff Mark Lamb, who's amazing. I've seen him give speeches during the 2024 Trump election, and I watched him talk a lot, and he's pretty awesome too. So this should be really, really interesting. So I just wanted to tell people about that, and then know that we have the M4LU.org, and all of the resources that you could possibly want on the subject of restorative justice will be available there following this 2-hour discussion.
Which is perfect
It'll be a
timing.
great one.
Raz, aren't you headed to a town hall or forum this week, right? Restorative justice
So
practices.
basically, here in communist Montgomery County, Maryland, we have decided to fully embrace restorative justice and completely eliminate any discipline or consequences.
Yep.
And as a result, right, we've had, 2 lockdowns at a very prestigious school back to back, multiple fights at another prestigious school. And the kids just don't know how to behave anymore, and it's because we're using restorative justice, which is never intended for a pandemic setting. Yeah, the restorative justice has consequences.
What, real quickly, what is restorative
wondering-
justice?
Who went first? Sorry.
No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead, Scarlett. Repeat that because you're.
Oh, no, I was just asking
couldn't,
for you all to explain what is restorative justice to folks that don't know.
Restorative justice, in a nutshell, it's actually intended for when somebody has been in jail and you're trying to reacclimate them to society, right? So how do we bridge that gap? You've done irreparable harm and you're trying to make it unirreparable, and how do you get back into society? And Jamie, you're a much better wordsmither than I am. So if I said that incorrectly, please catch me when you hop in. And so it's talking about, like, the attacker and the attackee coming together, understanding the harm that you created, right? And being able to build bridges of empathy and understanding. Well, there are sometimes, like, let's just say that there is a fight in school, right? I don't know that I want my son having a conversation in a circle with other people or the person attacking him about what that made him feel like, or why the attacker felt like they could attack. Like, this is not a place where we should have our children trying to solve these heavy issues together like this. These are for outside of academia, especially when you're talking about K through 12. So it's never been intended for the education space, always for coming and reacclimating into society after you have been imprisoned. But Jamie, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, and what we've seen in schools, I'm just going to speak for ours here, is like the minimization of disciplinary action, for some of these instances of fighting, or, there's a lack of consequences, and we're trading it for counseling and like circle time
And kumbaya session.
It's not working.
Yeah.
And I was totally blown away that Roslyn also shared with me that Montgomery County, that they don't have SROs in the buildings. So, we're putting a lot.
In Wisconsin, are they called
pressure.
SROs? In Wisconsin, are they called SROs? Yeah.
Yes, they are. And in fact, in Milwaukee County, the largest public school system in the city, and probably one of the most dangerous areas of Wisconsin, the MPS school system has blocked SROs, these security in the schools, and the Milwaukee courts have brought them into court and demanded that they put these officers back in, and they're not doing it. They are defying the judges. Everything the Democrats tell us we're not allowed to do, right? They do it. They do it because
then
they're
it's
so
the teachers. Like, who's the role? I mean, I'm assuming then the disciplinary action or the role of the protector falls to the teacher, the administration. Who's in the building?
It probably
with the training.
It probably falls to the social worker who's going to do some of that magic restorative justice, all that healing. Well, it's the reason why the attrition rate of teachers is so high in Wisconsin, and why MPS struggles to keep good teachers who are in unsafe situations. And there's kids that they never get expelled. They are never disciplined. And the thing is restorative justice is meant to help students of color, Black and brown students, Black and Hispanic students. And yet it is those students that are harmed the most, because in these predominantly Black and Hispanic schools, they're terrorized by just a handful of students who will never receive any sort of discipline for what they're doing.
And I think ultimately, right, this is another example of good intentions with, I would swear right now, but I don't have $1 to give. Good intentions, right? Good intentions with terrible execution or terrible realization of like downstream consequences. right? Where you don't want to have marginalized communities be further marginalized, right? Where you might see an increased instance of Black and brown students who are getting referrals, who are getting suspended. So what is the alternative besides pulling out all safety measures, right? Because that's not the answer, right? Removing consequences isn't the answer. So the good intentions have now had bad consequences.
Yep, exactly.
Well,
And
I also feel like some of our districts are in between a rock and a hard place because, we've had recently at our, annual school board summit, like fun things that moms go to now that they never thought that they would be participating in, right? Annual school board summits and meetings. And they're talking about the increase of level 3, level 4, level 5 offenses, right? And then that's problematic. But is for the behaviors that are, and happening in the schools. So it's like you're punished for one thing, which is to ignore the behaviors, and then it's kind of, put up on a billboard or, on the PowerPoint screen to say, well, this school's had an increase in 50% of level 3 offenses. What's going on over there? And it's like, well, they're actually being held accountable. So this is working.
Well,
this is working. And
you'll notice too, oftentimes the measure for success with restorative justice isn't necessarily a reduction in the issues, but a reduction in the consequences, right? They'll say statistics like we've seen a drop of 24% suspension rates. That doesn't mean that the fight stopped. That just means that there was a different consequence or no consequence for said fights.
And I've put up a graphic, and this is a mom who took, action, and working with the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, she pursued justice for her child who was repeatedly bullied and beaten up in school because there was no SROs, there was no one there to help her child. And she won in court. She won in Milwaukee courts, which is very difficult. These are not conservative. This is not a conservative area. And you can see that she said that she's still frustrated because Milwaukee's being held in contempt of court and failing to comply with the law. There was funding given to Milwaukee to put these officers in, these security resource officers, and MPS just refuses to comply. And it's just really sad for the parents and the students that want to learn, and for whom education is going to be a life raft out of a life of poverty. And instead they are basically trapped in these very unsafe schools. And it's just not fair. Yet Democrats will run around and say that they are standing for the students, they are standing for parents, and they are fighting for people of color. And in my opinion, they are often the problem.
Kudos for this mama bear for standing up. That's really what it's going to take. More and more parents saying enough, right? And that's what really the last 4 years have been. So I'm really happy for her, and I'm thrilled that the justice system, sided with her.
Yeah, and eventually they're going to have to comply. They're going to be forced to comply, and they're going to have to stop making excuses. But I think what we're going to learn about more in this 2-hour lecture today is why. Because, right, isn't that what everyone will ask you after you talk about these things? Everyone's like, why? Why wouldn't they want to have, security officers in schools? That doesn't make any sense. This just defies common sense. Just like, why would they want to have biological males on a girls' swim team? And the answer to that is key. It's this ideology, these various critical theories, that these woke mind viruses.
That was a good tie back to our original topic about men and women's sports. Good job, Scarlett.
Yeah.
You just tied that up with a little bow.
It all comes together. It all comes together.
Yeah, to leave the kids alone.
Yeah, yeah. And they merge together.
Well, that and we are fortunate in Fauquier. We do have SROs in our schools, but when disciplinary action at one of our Fortunately for us, that principal was replaced with someone who seemed to care about what was happening in the schools and give parents a voice. And he had an idea to implement the Watchdog Dad program, which we've had at the elementary school level here. But I think it was really important at the middle school level, like to have a bunch of strong male role models that are just there to like, bump fists in the morning and just be present. Not necessarily, they're not walking around with bulletproof vests on, their dads in t-shirts who, you've probably seen around your neighborhood, and just that connection there of having adults in the hallways that are paying attention, that you're familiar with, and that they're a presence. I mean, that's what we need, strong dads to stand up and be involved. And not that moms can't do it. We can get it there. But it's really, there we go. We got there we go. We got a strong dad.
Yep.
Love him.
Our friend Steve, strong dad.
Yeah.
And his posts are
How
always
fortunate are we to
Can we see if Steve wants to have us out to the ranch and we can chop wood and do this?
Steve.
Like we could talk about all these crazy things while chopping wood with him.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a really good field trip.
Look at, there he is with his hat. How can you sit with a straight face and say you're okay being governed by clowns? I love it. I love it. And he just has a great way of saying things. He reminds me, like, the way he talks is the way that my dad talks, which I like. No nonsense, not even harsh, just firm. Yeah, I love it. People look at this. People better search their souls in this country. We could just all look at his posts.
Well, it's just based in reality too.
Yeah. And he had a little viral post.
Yeah, if you need a little reminder, go to Cattleman.
Yeah, he had a viral. I'm looking for his. There's him and his beautiful wife. She's lovely. She's a teacher.
What grade do you know?
It's elementary, at elementary school. And here is us with January and Steve, Shannon, Helen, and James Lindsay and Mia, where when we were in January at the Heritage Foundation for Gender Ideology Summit.
Snowed in DC?
Yep. That was fun. That was fun. That was an interesting, that was a fun experience in the end. We figured out how to have the how to all like hear each other in a unique way when everything was shut down.
Like COVID 2.0, right?
Yeah.
We had to pivot.
Yep. Always have to pivot. Yeah. But these we have a really great group of friends. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then so I think we've covered a lot of great topics today. Even got to touch on restorative justice, which is something that I think we could talk about more, like all on its own.
For 2 hours tonight on M4LU. That's where we can.
Yes, let's watch. And
that's right.
And
really all month long, because isn't it?
Yeah, all month long. There's
next week is the live lecture, right?
Yep.
Who's the lecture with next week? It's with Daniel Buck and.
Oh, I love Daniel Buck.
Who else?
He's great.
So we have M4LU with restorative justice tonight. Yeah.
I'm
and
looking.
We have the State of the Union
tonight.
Yeah. Yes.
What's the new? What's the
read? Makes it out to the public.
Yeah. So I'm putting.
What is it?
I'm looking right now. I'm going to site to find.
What's the rebrand of the State of the Union? No habla español.
No. Okay. So
bingo.
Wait,
bingo
I just said that. Wait, I just said that in Spanish. That's not what I should have done.
So here we've got so again, reminder about the link, and then there's going to be a whole bunch of events all month long, and there's going to be a book club, And what else?
Open up M for LU, Scarlett.
Oh, for MFLU. Okay. Don't get dizzy
Yeah,
as I'm
yeah.
scrolling. Let's see, where was it? Underneath.
I think
This
it's
was a great quote, wasn't
right
it?
below,
What's done to children, they will do to society. Okay, here we go. M for LU. Here we go. The live event. And yeah, this is live in Tennessee. So I don't know if there's still time to get tickets, but if you are in Nashville, it is live, and then there's an audience Q&A, and you can submit questions virtually too, I believe. But view the current semester. So the month overview, here we go.
You got to switch. I think change your screen, Scarlett.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't share this tab. Got it? Can you see it now?
Bingo. Beautiful.
Here we are. So, oh wow, look at this. A watch party with echoes of Columbine. And then the book Why Meadow Died. And this is with this is going to be a tearjerker. And then there's a toolkit, free resources coming soon. And
Yeah, I mean, there's
to March 11th. I'm actually learn more about that. Wow, Daniel.
Well, yeah, and you
Brock.
can go back. I mean, join in for restorative justice, and then go back and listen to the panels and the lectures on social emotional learning, because I mean, it's how we destabilize our kids in school, right? With the social emotional learning curriculums.
Yep. Yeah, there was a whole series on social emotional learning, and that is a topic that a lot of people don't understand for good reason. It's complicated, but the biggest thing is social emotional learning is the vehicle through which a lot of the critical theories that we're talking about, critical race theory and gender ideology, they get infused directly into the curriculum. So you can't opt out of, ELA. And so they infuse social emotional learning into that, and into phonetic learning, and into everything. And so knowing what it is, knowing that that's a hard one. That's a hard one for parents to fight. And it's something that we're hopefully dealing with through the Department of Education and all of the different things that are happening.
And let's not forget, we have the big announcement of official confirmation last night of Linda McMahon.
Yes, that's huge.
Wonderful for it to be official.
That's huge. Yeah, that vote. I was watching that live so that we could put out the announcement. Congratulations as it happened. That's really exciting. And from what I read on Chris Rufo's feed today, she's already drafting a momentous statement. And what everyone is saying, that basically that she's going to put herself out of a job. Which is
I love a good statement.
We're all hoping it's a statement.
We love a good
good statement. We love a nicely worded, a firmly worded statement. But a statement that's hopefully saying that she's going to be putting herself out of a job. That if she does what she's supposed to do in 4 years, there's going to be there isn't going to be a whole big Department of Education getting billions and billions of dollars. And
I'll be curious to see how many people take the $25,000 buyout that was offered to the Department of Ed.
Oh yeah, that was dropped on Friday night. On Friday night that went out.
I use my favorite chat GPT for some possible bingo squares. So I thought I would just read a couple.
Yes.
All right. Winning like never before. The crowd chants USA, USA.
Or fight. Can that one be there?
Fight, for sure. That's one.
Look, I'm holding it.
I love this. That's perfect. Mentions Florida, right? At least one person in the audience boos.
Gets kicked out, booed. Yeah.
You gotta go. Let's see. A standing ovation that lasts over 10 seconds.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What else? Yeah, I like that.
Golf of America. I bet that could be a square. It says Golf of America.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
How is he gonna
This one
troll
says
everyone?
President Trump claps for himself.
Melania looks like Melania looks like a boss. That could be one.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
I just wish they would
randomly
create a
frozen
website.
Hillary.
I wish they would create a website that just linked to all of her dupes of all of her clothes. Where's that website? Add to cart. Add to cart.
Oh yeah, like a like to know it.
Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
No, it's okay. Some of these are just so funny.
I heard
Mentions
Democrat-
a poll that nobody can verify exists.
He's going to talk about his polls though. I think he's going to talk about that he's, how popular he is. The recent polling data showing that he's never had higher support. I think he'll do
Give
that.
us give us two more. Give us two more. Yeah.
Two more. Okay. Let's see. Give someone in the audience a nickname, Crooked Joe, Sleepy something. Like definitely someone in the audience is definitely getting a nickname.
Someone gets a nickname. Okay.
Somebody's getting a nickname. They said it, he'll say they said it couldn't be done.
There we go.
I mean, there we go.
Elon Musk fathers another child.
Elon's 15th baby is announced in the State of the Union.
Oh my gosh.
What else?
But now you need to do Democrat response and we need this to be a PDF ready on X by 7:30 tonight, just so we're all clear.
Something about Zelensky. He's going to say something about Zelensky.
Oh, yeah.
I hope it's funny.
Zelensky shows up in a suit. What do you think? Maybe.
Please, I'm sorry. Can I have money?
Who brings somebody's bringing a Ukrainian flag? 100%.
Oh, for sure they are. For sure they are. That's given.
I'm gonna see if I can.
Yeah, what would be the Democrats'
download
response?
this.
Bingo.
Yeah, we'll have to mix it up a little bit.
It'll be a
funny.
good night. It'll
Yeah.
be a good night.
How many times will he say beautiful?
Over or under? You have to be like over under 6. Right?
20, maybe 20. It was the most beautiful. It was the most beautiful bill. It was like the best. Well, it definitely is going to talk about, what the Democrats did. Yes, what we talked about, sports, and how crazy that is. And, so I don't know. It'll be.
I wonder what if he calls out Mitch McConnell?
That would be
Right?
interesting. That would be interesting.
I'm here for that.
Yeah. It should be he'll respond because of all the stuff that happened with Zelensky, so he'll definitely say something about that, and that should be funny. I'm kind of interested to see what the Democrats do in the background. What does AOC do? What's her play? Like she's going to do something dramatic.
Maybe the squad will be torn between wearing a Ukrainian flag or a Palestinian flag. So maybe they will be dismantled.
I heard they're wearing pink, which is odd considering they all just voted against women yesterday, but I heard that the women all want to wear pink. I don't know why, because they, what do they care about with women? Their number one issue is how many babies can women abort. I feel like they just, how do they represent women anymore and their best interests? Regular women, your average mom. I think they're so out of touch in that arena.
Your average XX lady.
Yes, your average mom.
Just us.
What do they care about? Yeah, like us. I just don't feel like they say the things. They say things, but their actions are very different. And that's why you should be listening to us.
Mom was always right.
Yeah, we'll tell you the truth. All right. Well, it was great. It was great chatting, and we'll do this again soon. And it'll be interesting to see if any of our predictions come true. I'm sure they will in the State of the Union. We'll all be watching and kind of texting each other during that. So
I was going to say the group chats will be on fire by
They're gonna
9:15.
exploding. So, all right. Well, I think we'll sign off now and stay tuned. We'll be doing this a lot more. So thanks for listening.
Bye, ladies.
And bye. Bye,
Thanks.
everybody. And don't forget
Bye.
to tune in 6 o'clock Eastern time to Moms for Liberty University. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hello.